to Smash for writing.
Does it make you sad that we are never going to have an intro as cool as the one in Cowboy Bebop?
Welcome to Smash Writing. I am Paul, this is Justin, and today we are reviewing the animated series. I guess we can call it a series.
No, I guess it's one season.
But
Cowboy
over like
Bebop.
2 years.
Yeah, well, there's 98 to 99.
Okay, I thought it started in like 96 and ended in 98.
98.
Okay, and today we are reviewing this series, Cowboy Bebop. This is Justin's idea.
That intro was badass. So
It was
I was
definitely...
jamming to it by like the 6th episode.
Yeah, it definitely was probably one of the better ones.
See, I really like the One Punch Man intros too.
Well, I said this is one of the better ones. I didn't say the best one. So this had 26 episodes. Individual, for the most part, it was individual.
Yeah,
story.
I think there were only two-parters.
Yeah. I mean, the overall one was Spike going up against...
Vicious.
Yeah.
And that was like when you really got into like story aspects of this show.
Right.
With Spike and Vicious.
See, but going... each episode...
The show's mainly about the Bebop. The ship, spaceship full of bounty hunters. And it starts off with Spike and Jet, and then you had Hein the Data Dog, then you had Faye, and then in episode 9,
I forgot about the dog.
Data Dog.
Yeah.
But you had Faye in like episode 3 or 4, and then episode 9, you get Ed, and that's your crew throughout most, and they are poor ass bounty hunters. They're always starving.
That is so true because I don't know the currency, but
the inflation rate.
But what I'm saying is like every bounty that they get there, it's like $1 million.
8 million, but they never get it.
That is true.
They always end up dead, or the person who put the bounty on them has revoked the bounty because it was a computer program and not a person.
That is true. So, and how does this 26 episode story arc end?
Spike dying. If we meet Julia, we find out the things that happened in his past, and in one final fight with Vicious, Spike dies.
That was what? How many fights? I know. I'm trying. There was he came across him in episode 8.
Yeah, something like that.
And
episode 5.
Okay, and it was kind of not a draw.
He gets
he
knocked
survived.
out the window. Yeah, he survives it, but he pretty much loses that fight.
Yeah, that was a loss on it. So he can never beat.
Yeah, because even the second time there's a fight, but they focus a bit more on the grin aspect of what's happening. And Spike's kind of just chasing him.
Yeah.
For the most part. There's a little bit of a skirmish, but it's mostly with Grin. And then the final fight between the two after Julia's dead. And I knew that final episode's great. We're going to dive into that a little bit later.
Okay.
What were some of the aspects of the show that you liked?
Spike himself.
Spike was good.
I think my favorite part of this series as a whole was definitely Spike himself. The way he conducted himself, he was cocky, confident, he walked that fine thread. I enjoyed him every time. I feels like if
episode 5 we get a look at Spike's past and we meet Vicious.
Yeah, okay. I like how the backstory is he slept with wasn't that he sleep with
Julia?
Was that Vicious ex-wife?
There was definitely a three-way triangle, a love triangle going on between the three of them.
Okay.
And it looked like Julia was going to leave with Spike.
Gotcha.
When Vicious was like, no, you're going to die unless you kill him.
Friendship.
But I loved how every episode, they just jam-packed every episode with emotion. And characters of depth. And they always did a really good job of making you care about the person they're after. There's not too many Like there's like one or two episodes where they're chasing actual bad guys.
Yeah.
I mean, well, like the episode with the Unstoppable Assassin, where he was just a prisoner that they did terrible lab experiments to, and they were going to lock him away forever because he was a failure in their eyes.
Right. Yeah, I did enjoy the emotional. I gotta be honest with you, like when I first started watching this, like the first couple episodes in, and like my opinion of it changed as I was taking breaks, watching other stuff. I went like deep, like I watched like the only thing I watched for a couple of days was like the first 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And that kind of ran its course a little bit on me, so I had to take a break. The first couple episodes, I thought, like, I wasn't into it. Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be long. But then as I watched them, took a break, I got to enjoy Spike more.
Yeah.
Once I could follow the stories more, it was much, much more entertaining.
I know what triggered your change. It's Radical Ed. I loved Radical Ed. I will remind my future children every day that they will not be nearly as cool as Radical Ed is.
God, you're
your child too. They'll have to live up to the bar of Radical Ed. Because they were so much fun. Just such a fun character.
Well, the group as a whole was fun.
Well, yeah, you had different characteristics, and Ed just kind
of... Like, Faye was like a gambler, too. Like, she couldn't control her habits.
Well, Faye was in so much debt, like, that was her only way out of debt.
Right.
It was like winning... She had to win. Oh, I loved it when you saw her backstory, 'cause it was, like, soul-crushing, and then it's like, God, that's so fucking... medical. That's our medical suit today. Like, they woke her... Her Faye's backstory ended up being she was in a car accident or some sort of accident, and they couldn't fix her, so they put her on ice, and they woke her up, like, 54 years in the future, and they're like, oh, here's your $300 million debt. And then she falls in love with a con artist who fakes his death, and she ends up with his debt on top of her own.
This was definitely, this is definitely more adult anime than anything. Probably more than anything I ever watched. Because,
you watched Bayonetta.
Yeah, that's true. Though you made me. I will. That was just... I'll never go
like you get... It's interesting is that you get one real nude scene in this show, and it was the intersex individual of Grin.
Okay, yeah.
This show was like 98, 99. It's progressive as hell. Like you had the one scene where Faye busts in trying to find Grin, and you get the two guys in bed. No one makes a big deal of this. It's just a scene.
Yeah.
And if it was happening today, it would be spotlighted as this huge controversy.
Or it's making a step in the right direction. Like it's a scene.
Yeah, but these are just scenes, and these are just people. Like Faye didn't care; she just wanted her information. She didn't make a big deal of this. And you had that. You had the intersex character, Grin. You just had like a progressive world here, and it just was in '98, and no one really talks about that.
Yeah, going back, think about how things changed just that long ago. The voice actors, the English ones, were really on point. I thought with the characters.
Yeah, we watched the dub version. I'm not watching the Japanese.
I don't got time for that.
I have to watch the screen, and then I can't do anything else.
Yeah, at least like when you're hearing the dub version, I can at least still hear and understand what's going on if I got to turn my attention to 100 other different things.
I am doing 100 other things while I'm watching these things. I'm editing and writing. I'm not just solely focused on one thing.
No, you can't be. Definitely everything that's going on.
Well, I like the crew of the Bebop. Is like I said, it was interesting because they're all different. They're not good people. It will Ed, but it will still fuck you. Ed will destroy you faster than everyone else. It just hacks into everything. Like they were fucking with the police ship because they hacked into their ship and it crashed. I love them actually. Like according to our information, Ed is 7'4".
Yeah, and they all had all their features added to the team.
Yeah,
like it, and they
were like a family who didn't want to be a family.
and they ended up being a good family about it. Watching, got each other's back, and I guess like Jet would probably be the closest thing to like a father.
Well, he's like 36.
Yeah.
He said his age was like 36 years old. It's like, man, you lived a life having it.
Spike was, how old would Spike? Like, did they ever make Spike age? Because he seemed more on a younger side, like in his 20s. Like I said, I loved Spike.
Well, Spike was a good character because he wasn't unstoppable like a lot of the anime characters who are leads.
Yeah.
Like, he will get beat down. He will take his eyes off the ball. Like in episode 2, he misses his target because he stepped in the puddle. He's shaking his foot. While he's looking down, shaking his foot, the guy he's looking for walks by him.
You've seen multiple times that he makes, he doesn't pay full attention to everything he needs to pay attention to.
Yeah.
The one scene when they was it back at Earth when Jet's ex-girlfriend and her current boyfriend.
I don't think that was Earth. I think that was Mars.
They had
because Earth is destroyed.
Okay, so but Spike is on the move with them. Like he's solely focused on them, and they're on a boat, and they go under this tunnel, and he completely almost crashes into the building.
Yeah.
Like, he could have seen that a mile away.
Well, speaking of that episode has one of the greatest things I like the most. Because normally when you get that in movies where you get the person chasing after their ex-partner, they let him go. And in this case, he's like, no.
Yeah.
Even he's like so bold about it. He's like, look, I can let you go, but there's going to be others who are going to come for you, and they're not going to be as kind.
Yeah.
And he's right. Like, that's the point. No other people who take that shit on do. Like, no, Jet's right. Like, he's going to be much kinder in this situation than any other bounty hunter.
That is true. And for him, like, he wanted closure with his ex, and that pocket watch or whatever he had, he just like
tosses it into the ocean.
Yeah, because after they had the closure, because he reversed her line on her about like time moving on or something, like time don't stand still, moves on, and he tosses it, like it has no value to it. He got over it very quickly.
Anytime they tackled their past, I thought they did really well.
Yeah,
like with Faye being frozen and finally finding out what her memories are, and realizing that no, her future's on the Bebop, not in the past.
Yeah.
You got Jet, and then his backstories, and
he was a cop.
He was a cop who had lost his arm. He finds out later that it wasn't the criminal he thought it was, but it was his partner that shot him.
Yep.
Everything was Spike, Vicious, and Julia.
Yep. This, for 26 episodes, I feel like they could have had so many more adventures and so many other stories. Like this makes me want. This 26 episode was definitely one that was like, I want to watch more.
Yeah.
Like it was so different from.
Season 2 could have been really good too because you had pretty much the only people left on the Bebop at the end of the season and are Jet and Faye. Because Radical Ed went off.
Yep.
And took Ein. And Ed didn't take Ein. Ein went with Ed.
Yeah.
And Spike died. So you would have had a great rebuild of and you had the two two OGs who are trying to come to grips of the loss of Spike, and should they go after Ed or should they let Ed run off? Because I think you would have to brought Radical Ed back at some point. Radical Ed was phenomenal. I love Radical Ed.
You can be.
Chess Master Hex was my favorite episode.
Okay.
With you just had Ed and this guy everyone's looking for playing chess, and they're like, "You're playing him?" They're like, "Yeah, we're playing."
What we gotta do?
So they're like, "All right." They use that chess game to track him.
What are some pros and cons? What you got for us?
Was that it? I don't think I actually have any cons. You get a few, they have a few little episodes I would have well, if you should have probably changed this to this.
And that's
nitpicking though? Yeah, it's a nitpick. Like Chess Master Hex, I think Ed should have won that game with. Well, no, because Hex, I think, died at the end of that. or like seemed to die at the end after he beat Ed. And had Ed won, you would have had this nice little passing of the torch in his last moment. He met an opponent that not only could match him but topped him. And I think that would have been nice for Hex because he's literally passing the torch off. But I get why, because you had this nice little. He got to have one more great match with someone before he died.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That could just be the wrestling fan of me, like the old timer passing on the torch to the newcomer.
I think the only con I have, and it's probably more on the lines of nitpicking as well, is maybe more episodes with one story arc. Like, I know we got a couple of them, but
Would you wanted more like Spike and Vicious kind of deal, or just... Because all of them are one story arc. They're all closed within this 20-25 minute period.
yeah, I think maybe just stretch that out a little bit more.
Stretch out some of the stories to more than one.
Yeah, because it does seem like certain episodes were better quality than others. I get the concept. I'll tell you my grade in a minute.
Like you could have made the cult who were doing the brainwashing. You could have probably stretched that into 2 episodes and had a bit more
just some more of that, because like
up the threat level of the cult.
individual story arcs can, and this is probably becoming my preferred thing. Individual story arcs are okay, but I feel like multiple episode story arcs are better. That's just me though.
It all depends on the arc.
Yeah. If you can make the story more interesting, and I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying, like, if you can make a story more interesting, make it into a multiple episode arc. But once again, that is nitpicking. I'm not going to really fault it for that.
There might have been something else on this. I'm just checking to make sure I didn't miss anything. Keep going.
but like I said, that's
I
about
love the videotape episode where they got the VCR. They're trying to shove the beta into it, and Ed just comes up, "You got the wrong one," and then rolls away.
It was a good, fun 26 episodes. Want more?
There was that episode 11, with the mystery virus on the Bebop.
Yeah.
That was weird episode. The final lesson is don't forget things in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
This episode. I don't know what to think of this.
Yeah, that one was like,
This is weird.
But I also like it. It's like, what happens to bounty hunters when there's no criminals to catch?
Yeah.
They're broke.
They're broke. They're bored. Chet loses all of his clothes and all of his belongings to
Faye.
And just like,
And
like, you
Spike's
can
like,
at least give him back his clothes.
And she's talking about like fair betting and stuff, and he's like, does he know about your
Right,
ankle
yeah.
break? Like,
Well, I love that, but he's like, you could at least give him back his clothes, and she's like, I'll rent it to him.
so like, yeah.
I liked the space truckers in episode 7 with BT. The one that everyone's trying to guess her name, and she won't tell anyone. And she does not like bounty hunters.
Yeah.
That was good.
But then she ends up helping Spike and all them. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of really good episodes. I had a lot of fun with this.
Overall,
A+.
my overall grade.
I would put it like 1 tier below season 1 of One Punch.
And you were high on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give it an.
I like the animation style. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah,
I really like the animation style. The hand-drawn stuff looks good. The action fight scenes
more
were fun.
grounded.
Yeah, it's darker.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all that. Basically, I want to give it an A+. I don't think they could have done anything better besides the little nitpicking things that
It's definitely up there with Castlevania.
Was I high on Castlevania?
I don't know your opinions on shit. What was your opinion on Castlevania?
It's somewhere in my many, many notes.
It should be in your brain. It was your opinion.
But A+, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's up there with season 2 of One Punch Man. A little like a eyelash below season 1.
Yeah, that is true. But that is our review of Cowboy Bebop. Such an interesting name, too.
Yeah, I love that name. I love that ship. of the ship Bebop. Old, clunking, clanky, just like my knees.
But until next time.
Bye-bye.